All right, players, please be seated. Parents and spectators, it's time to exit the playing hall. Keep in mind that we do not allow parents in the playing hall or in the hallways outside of the playing halls. Tournament directors, please see that all parents and spectators exit the playing hall right now and the halls outside of the playing hall. Players, if you have a cell phone or electronic device that includes a smartwatch, make sure that it's turned off and placed underneath your seat on the floor or in a bag. The championship section is playing game 110 plus 10. All other sections are playing 100 plus 10. Ensure that your clocks are set correctly. They should be set correctly. The top 3 sections, championship under 2100 and under 1900 are FIDE rated. Other sections are USCF rated. White's clock will start regardless of which section you're in at the time that we say to start. The championship section will be using carbon copy score sheets. We will collect the score sheets from you after your game. Other sections, a regular score sheet is perfectly fine. You do not need to use a carbon copy score sheet. So championship section, make sure you're using the carbon copy score sheets so that we can collect a copy. The restrooms are just right outside of this hall here, and there should be no issues there. Again, if you have an electronic device, a smartwatch, headphones, cell phone, anything like that, turn it off, place it underneath your seat in a bag or simply on the floor.
Hello, everyone. I actually don't know what I'm doing. This is not the best start I've ever had. Hold on. What what opening did they play? Is this a London? Okay. That shouldn't be too bad. Can I make these moves? Hold on. Let's try this. Surely it's something like this, right? Whoa, A6. Is that actually? Let me mute the video feed. Um, so yeah. Hello everyone. How's it going? Let me try pulling up the yeah, we messed up with the stream together for sure. What is Emily's rating? That's a great question, and I'm hoping someone else knows that's smarter than me. Um, I should pay attention to what moves they're playing. Okay, she just played E3. Um, this looks like it's a, is it 90 plus 30? It looks like they already have like an hour 39. I see that's Tony playing next to her, and next to Tony is Kyle, who rated me last night. His Twitch is I am divinity underscore. So I met him in Vegas, so it's good to see him. They're all back in Charlotte. The grind just doesn't stop for these Charlotte chess players, you know? You go to one end of the country to play chess, and then you go back home to play more chess. It's just nonstop chess. Anyways, Emily, I don't think had her best tournament in Vegas, so she's looking to get back in the winning track, which is exciting. I don't know. I don't think Emily has FIDE rating, to be honest. Wet Crocodile, thanks for the follow. I should specify Wet Crocodile 69. Also, hello to Not Yul, saying it's an hour 40 plus 10-second increment. Isn't this a DGT board? It is, but it's on a delay. So I'm making the moves myself because the video is not delayed. Because to heck with the delay. It is an American rating. USCF is American, yes. It's different than FIDE. Anyways, I tried getting a live DGT board, but I didn't get it in time, unfortunately. So it is what it is. And it's fine, I think, honestly. Hey, Landon, good to see you. Hello to Speed Chess, good to see you as well. And Paul. 100 minutes plus 10-second increment. So an hour 40. Yeah. That checks out. No, it's different than FIDE. It's different. Okay, looks like she's brought both her knights out now. So, for example, my USCF is about 1900, but my FIDE is about 1750. So it's give or take about 100 ELO or so. But the lowest FIDE rating you can have, I guess, is 1400. But you can have below 1000 USCF. So, yeah, I don't know exactly how you would convert those ratings. It's different. So, thank you, Jim. Emily is 957 USCF. That's good to know. That's helpful. Thank you. But yeah, Emily didn't have her best tournament in Vegas, so hopefully she can bounce back here with a stronger result. Let me see if I can make the board a little bigger, maybe. Okay. What move did Black just make? Oh, they pushed their pawn. It seems fairly symmetrical, but this bishop now is blocked by its very own pawn. Sometimes it's those that are closest to you that are holding you back, you know? it's your own sometimes, unfortunately. Anywho. I think Emily is so far so good. Probably going to bring her light square bishop out. That's exactly what we see. Bishop to d3. She's ready to get castled. You love to see it. Now it's Black's turn, waiting to see. Looks like they do something very similar. Bishop to d6 now. Staring at the other bishop, offering a trade, also preparing to castle. Emily can castle here. She could trade bishops. She can tuck her bishop back. She can bring her knight into e5. Knight e5, I think, is a very common idea. It's a fun idea as well. We're potentially luring our opponent into a trap. A potential knight trade, which would lead to a fork. So that's a common mistake a lot of beginner players can play, is deciding to trade knights. But of course, Black could just trade with the bishop. And if we play pawn takes, we're attacking the knight, but maybe we lose our pawn. What's up, Zach? Good to see you. Shout out to Zach, who I suspect will be doing commentary this weekend for Emily. So looking forward to that. This is, I believe, 5 rounds. 1 game here today on Friday and 2 games a day on both Saturday and Sunday. Depends on how many games I do. Well, I certainly won't be doing all of them. That is a lot of games. All right, Emily has gone in for knight e5. She's laying the trap. Will our opponent fall for it? This is a big moment, an opportunity to blunder a piece, to make a mistake, and potentially lose the game already so soon. Will her opponent fall for it? Does she see it? Do we know the opponent's rating? I certainly don't. So, Carlene Pine rated 861. So anything is possible, which you love to see, as always. Whoa, 857 on the Charlotte website. Some rating loss there. Who knows which source is more accurate? At the end of the day, it's not that much different. So, but yeah, let's see. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to just castles. That seems very sensible. Very sensible. Not blundering immediately, which honestly is a good thing. We don't want our opponents to be blundering too easily now. Make Emily work for it a little bit, right? Looks like Emily also castled herself, renewing the threat of allowing her opponent to blunder. What tournament is this? This is the Charlotte Classic, round 1, if I'm not mistaken. Just based off of Emily's Twitch title. No, sorry, not the Charlotte Classic. It's the Carolinas Classic. My mistake. What is her current rating? She's about 950. Her opponent about 850. So she has about 100 elo advantage. The point of the front of my hair. All right, I'm getting a haircut tomorrow now. It's been decided. No, I really I don't do anything besides just go to bed and wake up, and my hair has a mind of its own, so who knows what it decides to do and when it does it. I try not to do too much. But yeah, sometimes I'll have good hair days and bad hair days, which I feel like is true for most people. Anyways, yeah, my channel isn't live because I think I changed my password recently, so it ruined the let's see. Does that work? Did I fix it? I might be live on my Emily and I tried doing a stream together, but I messed it up. Not playing h4 is a crime? No. Emily's a very solid player now. But yeah, I tried doing a shared together, or shared chat through stream together, and I messed it up. So anyways, I should be live now, which is exciting because I wasn't before. So I fixed it. But I still can't get the shared chat though. Thanks, Nodule. Appreciate it. Hi, Gary. Good to see you. All right. Has opponent made their move just yet? Not quite. No blunders yet. An hour and a half on the clock. 10-second increment, apparently. Why not 90 plus 30, you know? Like, what's the idea with 100 plus 10? You get 10 extra minutes to start, but you lose 20-second increment. I guess that's overall less time. But I feel like 90 plus 30 is a very standard time control. Like, people tend to like that. Ooh, bishop goes back. A retreating move from the opponent. Something a bit passive. Jim suggesting knight d7 to kick the knight out of e5. Yeah, that definitely was a move. But yeah, bishop back. So I think Emily has overall won this kerfuffle. This skirmish in the middle of the board. Her opponent has retreated, going backwards. And now Emily can continue with her dominance over the center. She can bring her queen to play. Queen to f3 perhaps. Is knight takes c6 good to give black doubled pawns? That's a great question. This should definitely be a move of consideration. This is a capture of a knight, a very forceful move. Black would take back with the pawn, but of course we have to weigh the pros and cons. I think this is a very strong knight for us, and we were actually hoping that black would take us. because then we would be able to deal some damage, recapturing with our pawn. But now that the bishop is back, we don't have the same fork idea. But damaging their pawn structure isn't actually as good normally as doubling pawns, like let's say in front of black's king, because these c pawns can then push and influence our center. So those doubled c pawns are actually not that bad. Paul, thank you for gifting to Strider. Good to see you, Strider. What are the elos of both players? So Emily's about 950 and her opponent is about 850. So they're very, very close in rating. Knight takes c6, b takes c6, knight to a4, knight to d7. And you're going after the control over c5, I suppose. Never trade, always develop. Yeah. I think the common saying is to take is a mistake. Obviously, sometimes to take is the best move and not a mistake. So chess is all about learning the rules and knowing when to break them. So when you say never trade, always develop, there are times where you should trade, and there are times where maybe developing is too slow and you need to pounce on a particular tactic while the iron is hot, so to speak. Is this one of those times? Perhaps not. It's hard to go wrong here. I think trading is fine. I think developing is fine. Probably I would play queen f3. Let me actually turn the engine on in the eval. Let's see. What does Stockfish prefer? What do you guys think? Queen h5 is the worst legal move. Yeah, queen h5, blundering the queen. Probably you're right. Unlikely Emily will do that. But I've definitely played the worst move. Blundering mate in 1 many times in my life. And that's why I'm commentating, because if I'm commentating, I can't blunder. If I'm playing, I can blunder. So Emily's doing damage control, having me commentate. If I'm commentating, I'm not blundering, which is a good thing for all of us, except for my opponents. My opponents would prefer me to play than to commentate, because then they could take advantage of my blunders. My OTB rating, am I a master? No, I'm not a master. I'm about 1900 USCF. So quite a ways away. Queen f3, I just don't like that they have knight to b4. Yeah, knight b4 is a good move, right? So taking on c6, perhaps, best move. Knight takes and then queen f3, maybe. Maybe not. You're like 1700 USCF. That's pretty good. Shout out to Bouncing Across, who also played in Vegas. I don't know if he had much of a chance to talk to Emily, the celebrity, but there was a streamer panel that I went to, and I got all their signatures, which was pretty cool, including Tony's. So, yeah, Charlotte, full of these chess celebrities. They made an appearance in Vegas last week, and apparently they'll be going back next month for freestyle chess. I don't know who all is going to Vegas next month, but apparently it's going to be a good time. Freestyle is becoming more and more popular. There's Tony getting up from his board. Tony playing one of the younger opponents. All right, and Emily, she also meets her opponent's backwards move with a backwards move of her own. Knight back to e2. And now it's black that can initiate the trade. You would play a3, double exclam. Now knight b4 Did I change outfits, Megan? You should know. You should know. What do you think? How good is your memory? I'm hoping that the memory of the audience is so bad that I could just wear the same outfit every day. All right, the move that Hayden, I don't know if I should have said, but knight b4 played, attacking our bishop, ducking the knight trade. But yeah, the computer did prefer taking on c6 previously. Unlucky. Yeah, Emily is playing. Andrew Tate OG fanboy. What a username. Where are my Andrew Tate fans at? When was the first round? You missed all it. This is the first round. You didn't miss anything. What's her rating nowadays? Emily's about 950. Yeah, A3 stopping knight b4. Shout out to H1 Chess. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. H1 Chess. Been streaming some late nights. Very strong member of the chess community. I'm doing well, Abdulruf. Good to see you. Bouncing is a strong player, so to suggest the same move as bouncing means that you are a very talented chess player. Stream title needs updating. What does the stream title say? You're bouncing's coach, actually? Then you must be GM. At least. Bouncing, going for NM title. I don't know if bouncing gained rating in Vegas, but one can only hope. Oh, wow. Yeah, the stream title like changed back. That's crazy. You gained 0 rating. Well, hey, that's pretty good. Usually people lose rating. Yeah, I don't know. I would guess if you're like in your 2100s for USCF, you probably care more about your USCF than your FIDE. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe bouncing thinks differently. Oh, I saw that guy at Vegas too that just walked by on the left. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's got to be pretty cool to just travel and play chess all the time. Like, I travel and play chess some of the times. Like last week I played in Vegas, but the last time I played was December of 2023, also in Vegas. So it had been a year and a half since I had played and competed. But I think I should play more because I think I'm underrated. So it'd be nice to gain more rating. Maybe get to 2000 USCF for the first time. And I think I should just play more in St. Louis because, you know, I live so close to the chess club. I don't have to travel to compete. Just like Charlotte here, these streamers all live there and they're all competing right now. Did she play C4? It appears so. C4. Explosive. How did I do in Vegas? I went 4 out of 7. I just finished reviewing my games on my stream. Your FIDE went up a bit in Chicago. That's awesome. I almost combined the word bit and Chicago, which would have been funny. You like to play a big tournament like twice a year. Yeah, I'm a fan of the Vegas tournaments. I think it's always fun. So I also like playing poker, but unfortunately I didn't play much poker last week. In fact, I didn't play any at all. That's my one regret. But that's okay. I probably would have lost money, which isn't the end of the world for me, which is nice. I can afford to lose money to play poker. But yeah, I think I'm at a point where I would rather play poker and lose money than not play poker at all, because to me, poker is a fun game. Uh, but yeah, it would be nice to be better at poker, to not lose money, and then I could play and win money, which I've done before. So, anyways, it's harder to win money through chess, that's for sure. I've done that though before too, which is nice. Can I explain the painting behind me? It's like the horseshoe, not the casino, but the national park in Utah, I believe. Is it in Moab? Like it's either in Utah or Arizona, but I'm pretty sure it's in Utah. I'm pretty sure it's near Arches, but I could be mistaken. I've never been there. Horseshoe Bend. Maybe RDPXI knows better than me. What Charlotte tournament would you recommend to go? Yeah, I think it'd be fun to go to Charlotte to play. Knight takes d3. Surely Emily will recapture with the queen, which looks like she does. Basically halves it on pre-move. Yeah, are there any mods in Emily's chat? You've been there? Is it in Utah? Like I thought? Yeah, the Alto tournaments I've heard are nice because as you can see, many of these opponents are young. Like Tony's opponent. But I don't like necessarily dislike playing against kids. I feel like a lot of adult chess players tend to make it seem worse than it actually is. Like I understand not wanting to play underrated people, and kids are typically improving at chess, right? So that makes sense. But I don't know. They're not that scary. People tend to take losing pretty poorly, it seems. Colorado River near Page, Arizona. So it is in Arizona. That was my second guess. Hey Justin. Yeah, I was asking for a mod because I was wondering if we could change Emily's stream title. Perhaps. It was right and then it changed. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was my fault. But who knows? Anyways. Yeah, Emily just recaptures and we have ourselves a bishop pair for black versus a dark square bishop and two knights for white. What title do you want? I will try. Here. Oh, another knight move. Dude, black is hunting down all of the bishops. Opponent going for both bishops. Not even stopping at one. They're getting both of them. Let me check what the title was before I saw it change. It's Carolina's Classic Round 1, and then at Joe Bruin is what it was. I'll put it in the chat if you want to make it that. The title you want is Grandmaster. Well, I believe in you, Jeff. You got this. Yeah, adults can be underrated. It's true. "12 miles from Utah." I was in the right area. Very, very close to Lake Powell. Yeah, I don't know where Lake Powell is. Um, but if it's like close to Arizona, then it's probably not close to where I was thinking. I was thinking Moab, which I think is where Arches is, which I think is closer to Colorado. But I guess technically Colorado, Arizona, and Utah are all fairly close to each other. Because I think there's like the four states corner where they all meet. But yeah, like Arizona, Colorado, it's like close to the Grand Canyon, I guess. Um, Emily can recapture the knight and she can be fine. Yeah, I think typically when I see this knight going for the bishop, I like to bring the bishop back to g3. Um, hey, Chess Dojo, good to see you. Is that Kostia or Pruess? I saw Pruess was streaming earlier today. Thank you, Justin. Did that work? I don't know if it worked. Maybe it's set title. Whoa, look at the blue hair Kostia emote. Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say it's Kostia in the chat, even though I saw Pruess commentating or streaming. I would still guess it was Kostia, but who knows? Anyways, someone asked me what the Chess Dojo channel was, um, because there was apparently another Chess Dojo channel that's confusing. Maybe it's like Master Chess Dojo, perhaps. But oh, it's Alex. Hi, Alex. Good to see you. Why do I have the photo if I've never been there? Because the photo was there before I got here, and I never switched it out. The men are wearing hats indoors. Well, maybe the men just want to wear hats. What's wrong with wearing hats indoors? Gosh. There's too many fashion trends. He's a friend. Yeah, so I was showing off the chessboard that I got signed in Vegas. So I'll show you all again. Because I've got the one and only Kostia. And I also have Emily's signature, who I met. Let's see, where's Emily? I got Dina, another Charlotte legend. We've got Ben Feingold, who may or may not have his name spelled wrong. We have Caden right here in the middle, the chess shark himself. Also, we've got Tony. Shout out to Tony. And we've got Emily. So Tony, there's Emily. That's Susan Polgar. Absolute legend. This is Kevin Skull, who Emily's actually been on his podcast as an adult improver. Probably worth a lot of money. Yeah. All thanks to this guy right here. Look at that handsome young man. Kostia. You played Kevin Skull in OTB before. How'd you do, Mystery Man? I, too, have had the pleasure to play against Kevin Skull, OTB. And I got lucky, actually, because it was a very drawish game. We were trading down a lot, and then he just blundered. So, but that's actually how I met Kevin. and Kevin and I struck up a conversation right before our round started because I was drinking out of this water bottle, my UCLA water bottle, and it turns out Kevin also went to UCLA. So Kevin and I have a mutual background, I suppose. You lost in a winning position due to time trouble. We've all been there. Hey Greta, how are you? How's it going? How ironic that GM Caden is on e4 when he is a d4 player. Yeah, I don't know if the players were consulted about which squares they would go on. But if I had to choose a square, I would certainly choose e4. Best by test, they say. Okay, so knight has been played to h5, attacking the bishop. And Emily has elected to push the pawn to c5. Is that what she's done? I believe that's what she's done. She's finished connect 4. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, she's not playing connect 4 though, so the game continues. Yeah, there's a lot of people wearing hats. I was going to say, usually it's pretty common to wear a hat if you're, balding. But Tony's got probably the most hair, and he's wearing a hat. So really, I think it's also just kind of a fashion statement. Tony's rocking the Chess Sharks hat. You always got to rep the brand. It's just good marketing, right? It's great exposure. He's getting a lot of eyeballs on the hat from Emily's stream. Is Chess Sharks live right now? Because it looks like they put Emily at the end of the table, which is great for the camera setup. But Tony is like the next board in. So, yeah. The Chess Sharks, Dina, Emily, they work a lot together, creating content over at the Charlotte Chess Center. So they've got a great little community going there. Great place for chess. I think the streamers in St. Louis are actually lagging behind Charlotte, if I can say so. I think the St. Louis Chess Club does a lot. We've got the Cairns Cup going on right now. Raise your hand in chat if you've heard of the Cairns Cup and are actively tuning in and watching. We'll see how many people can say that. I mean, I've heard of it. Am I actively watching? Not particularly. But I will say this, though. I'm rooting for Alice Lee. I think she's got a lot of potential. All right, Chess Dojo has raised his hand. Shout out to the Chess Dojo. Wow, Queen E8. An interesting move, to say the least. And it begs the question, where does that queen want to go? A new diagonal for the queen, it seems. This pawn, perhaps. But yeah, the knight's always going to track that down. But yeah, I guess my point is, honestly, that the St. Louis Chess Club's a great, great place. And they're doing a lot for chess. But I do think that maybe there's room for more. Maybe more marketing, maybe more streamer interaction. Like, that's even just without the chess club's interaction. I think there's a lot of streamers here in St. Louis that could be doing more, like maybe IRL streaming. Just an idea. Just saying. I think Eric Rosen's done some in the past. Maybe Benjamin Bach. Maybe Zefcat. But when I'm saying this, it's more so pointing inward at myself. I need to be the change that I want to see. I want to be playing more and streaming more IRL. So, what's up, Askia? Good to see you. Shout out to Askia. Fairly ignored now. Yeah, culture changes over time. You know, they do Chess Dojo. Maybe maybe I'll try more. I'll try harder, and then maybe others could also. I mean, yeah. I don't know the last time someone has streamed IRL from the St. Louis Chess Club, but we've got Charlotte going strong here. I think I saw Peter walking around in the background. You guys can't really see it because I'm covering it, but Emily's opponent is wearing a Charlotte Chess Center shirt. Reppin'. Okay, so rook to c1 has been played. What do people like to do in St. Louis? I think people like to watch Cardinals baseball. I think that's a pretty popular thing. I would say most people in St. Louis don't really know much about the chess club. But, you know, the chess people know about the chess club. Wow, A5 played. Fairly quickly as well. Black trying to lay the time pressure on Emily. I think they have like 3 more minutes. They're both about an hour and 20 minutes left on their clock. Preventing queen to b5. I feel like c6 seems like a fun move. Would anyone here play c6? Who knows? True. What else? I mean, St. Louis, I like the zoo a lot. I'm a big fan of the zoo. I like animals. Yeah, there's like Forest Park. There's the art museum. Look at the arch. Yeah. Huge, huge thing to do in St. Louis. People like to just go look at the arch. I think a very popular thing to do is if you see the arch, you have to point it out and say, there's the arch. And the arch isn't going anywhere. It does move slightly, but it sways with the wind. It's not actually moving locations, though. It's not going to leave anytime soon. So it's a very interesting phenomena by the St. Louisans. That's Kansas City. What? People talking about football? The Super Bowl a lot? Yeah, you're thinking of the Chiefs. Hi, Physic. Good to see you. Hello. Lowite C4. From Antarctica? What are you doing in Antarctica? Is it St. Louisans? Yes. Percy Jackson falls out of the St. Louis Arch in the teen fiction novel The Lightning Thief by... No, I didn't know that. You're dead, Physic. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I appreciate you hanging out in the chat from beyond. From running. How much did you run? Can a FIDE rating be below 1,000? I don't think so. But these players are not playing FIDE. The Arch is a monument in St. Louis. It symbolizes the gateway to the west. And the significance of that is that when the Louisiana Purchase was made, the expedition, the Oregon Trail, perhaps you would call it, began in St. Louis with Lewis and Clark. So, yeah. And, of course, I feel like I've hijacked the stream with St. Louis facts, even though the tournament is in Charlotte. So that's what happens when you get a St. Louis commentator on a Charlotte tournament. Where's Dina? Is Dina playing in this? If not, she should have been commentating. How many fun facts do you think Dina knows about Charlotte, though? I feel like I know a handful of St. Louis fun facts. Dina's not playing, so is she commentating? Or, I mean, what's her excuse, really? At least one? You think Dina knows at least one Charlotte fun fact? Do you think it's like a good fun fact? If Dina knows one Charlotte fun fact, I would hope it's a good one. And now I'm curious to know. She's commentating something else. Do you think Dina likes you as a person? I do. I think that you're a very likable person. So I would guess that most people would like you. When's the next Esquia stream? The fans want to know. 20 kilometers this week for Physic? Man, my poor American mind can't fathom. Is that a lot? It's like 1,600 meters in a mile, right? It's like 1.6 kilometers is 1 mile. So 20 kilometers. How many miles is that? It's already too much math. Why that question, Walton? Bro, is his name Walton? You're clueless. All right. No, don't be sorry. It's okay. You just hope you haven't missed much of this. Well, this game just started. In Arkansas, we have a giant Jesus statue like Brazil. It surely isn't as big as Brazil's. Okay, so it is Emily's turn still. What to do? How'd the interaction with Dina go? I hope you're not losing sleep over it. 12.4 miles, according to Google. 12.4 miles is 20 kilometers. I guess. It's a quarter of the size? Man, it's tiny. You've secured a computer. That's great. It's good to have cybersecurity. Half a marathon? Yeah, I guess so. But that was over 1 week. Is that a lot? I mean, if you... That's... I mean... It's less... It's like over a mile a day. But less than 2 miles a day. I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's good amount. I'm not really a runner. I mean, I used to be a runner. But yeah, running's hard. So any amount of running is good. Esquia hung out with me 3 entire days. See me sleep well at night. Do you do weights? And so I've been going to the gym a bit more this year than I've ever done before in my life. But I go with my roommate, and I've been traveling, and my roommate has also been traveling, so I haven't gone to the gym in like a month, which is terrible. Okay, someone's calling for H3. A flight square. A strongman? No, I'm still very weak. You were a Dolphins fan, and they got killed. Who killed the Dolphins? Dolphins should be protected species. Also, dolphins probably wouldn't be great at football in general, but I have seen dolphins playing before, so who knows? Dolphins are intelligent, but they lack fingers. Hi, Solar Sun. Well, okay. I mean, listen. I've seen enough film to know that there are animals that can play sports. I'm looking at you, Airbud. I saw a joke the other day, like, imagine the awkward drive home where your son just lost to a dog in basketball. And I don't know. I don't think it'd be that bad. Yeah. I mean, listen, worse things have happened. I feel like that'd be a fun life experience. I'm also not that competitive. Like, if a dog is better than you at something, are you gonna blame the dog? Like, really, you gotta have some inward reflection, right? Also, I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen Airbud. Is that a movie that I need to watch? If it would help my commentary, maybe. But I don't know. This is how I commentate classical games. You talk about the city a little bit, you talk about your city, and then you talk about sports. Now you're talking about the animal mascots, and now you're talking about Airbud. It's a very logical continuation. Who summoned H3? Which one of you said H3 and then Emily played it? Raise your hand. Zach? Zach wants to play Bishop H2. Okay, I mean, that makes sense, actually. You're the best. Yeah, why isn't Zach commentating? Zach already knows the moves before Emily even plays them. Ridiculous. Bishop H2. You're learning a lot, Alex. I need to see more Alex commentary. I need to see. I saw Eskia was on Alex's stream. They were playing OTB, but it was more casual blitz. I mean, they really rallied like the whole group. They had Sam, Notchul, Eskia, Alex. I think Nor was there as well. And yeah, I just wish that I was there too. Your gold watch, dude. You're dead again. Yeah, I don't have the lurk command. I had Mubot abandon me. I went to Europe and then Vegas for 2 weeks, and I come back and I'm trying to shout people out, and Mubot has just moved on. Wow, opponent has already played so quickly. They pushed a pawn. They're attacking our knight. Okay, well, I suppose our knight could retreat. Yeah, it doesn't like knight g4. It only likes knight f3. Opponent played f6. Exactly. During the finals? Which finals? All right, Emily has played the top move, knight to f3. And now, perhaps the last opportunity for black to capture Emily's final remaining bishop off the board. Knight takes f4. Will she play it? Tony's looking at Emily's game. Like, what's going on over there? Looks like they all got their drinks. Tony's drinking something out of a can. Looks like Emily's got either coffee or tea. My guess would be it's coffee. Is that a Starbucks cup? I couldn't tell. I don't know. I don't see any green. You know, if it's Starbucks, they're missing out. They need it to be more branded. You know, like the Chess Sharks hat. Kyle's hat with the Charlotte Chess Center logo. We're threatening bishop takes f7. That's a good point. That pawn is hanging. Not the f7 pawn, of course, the c pawn. Because black played queen to e8, abandoning the f pawn. No, it is the c pawn. My apologies. It was f6 that was just played. f7 to f6. This queen, though, may be offering a queen trade. Glad to have capsule on shortly after. What is capsule on? The exotic Dutch weather. What's going on there? She's not going to give Starbucks free advertising? How do you know? Yeah, Tony's giving Emily some looks here. Sending signals, perhaps. Tony and Emily, they've been sitting next to each other all tournament long in Vegas. They had designated DGT boards because they were streaming. And now they've moved all the way across the country, and they're just inseparable. Just destined to play chess next to each other every tournament. You can't deal with the flipped board. Well, we're looking at it from Emily's perspective. But yes, black had just pushed their f-pawn. The c-pawn is now hanging. Is the cup from Starbucks? That is the question. We will have an interview with Emily afterwards. So write down all of your questions. Andrew Tate, OG fanboy, asking, Joe, please answer my question. How many hours of sleep do you get some night? Well, you know, it changes every night. It's not very consistent. When I was in Vegas, I was getting about 5 hours of sleep every night. And it's not because I was staying up late. It was because I couldn't sleep in. I was jet lagged. I just flown in from Amsterdam. Alex saying it's so hot here, you have no idea. That's true because I only know temperature in Fahrenheit. If I asked you how hot it was, you'd probably tell me in Celsius. Nobody username classic. There's a general rule of thumb. If you have nothing nice to say, then don't say it. And I think that's good advice. Chess Arbitress, good to see you. Hello. How are you? All right, so black has just moved their queen to d7. This is the classic queen to e8 to d7 maneuver. And now, after h3, Emily can save her remaining bishop. Zach is manifesting it. Will she go for it? 31 degrees. Wait, 31 degrees is only 87.8? I thought 31 was higher. 87 is like not bad. I mean, maybe for Europeans. I wouldn't say it's the only reason to play h3. h3 is a very common flight square. Also just controlling g4, but no black pieces can go to g4. But yeah, Emily doesn't have to play bishop h2. You know, you could bring the rook into the center. A3 is fine. 87 is hot actually. For Netherlands it is, yeah. That's fair. Your head got sunburnt. You didn't wear a hat? Or are you just trying to get a tan? Feingold would have played bishop h2 instantly. Well, who knows? Yeah, Ben didn't play in Vegas. He did a simul. I think he lost a game, but it was like 50 players. But yeah, Ben shared some fun stories during the panel. In Vegas. One of the questions, something about what was like the craziest fan interaction that you had. And yeah, I think there's a couple ways you can go with answering that. I think as streamers, you meet a lot of people online, and when you get a chance to meet them in person, I think it's a really fun opportunity. But obviously, you know, internet strangers aren't always the best people. So there's obviously some caution that you should take. And it's different as well, I think, between male streamers and female streamers. But Ben shared that he went to Italy on his honeymoon with Karen and met up with a fan who was their local tour guide, showed them around the city, and just really like helped make the experience that much better. So I thought that was a really nice story to share. Fans who always seem to ask for hugs. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Usually you just meet a fan once, maybe, but yeah, people are weird. It's the internet. So we gotta hold ourselves more accountable to be better. Why has Emily not played Bishop H2? Well, she's still thinking. She might still play it. Hi, Cosmo. Good to see you. Oh, you don't have AC? Then yeah, I could see why that's a bit hotter. What's the plan for white here? Well, white should bring their bishop to h2 to prevent the knight from taking the bishop, which is, in theory, why we played h3. You never want to hug anybody, G-foot. Well, I mean, that's fair. I think hugs are nice. I like hugging. Eskia says I hug everybody equally. Yeah, Eskia gives good hugs. I can say that. Not random people, though. Yeah, I've seen videos people go out in public with a sign like free hugs. I think that's sweet. You know, I think that's a good service to provide the community. Whoa, Josiah's playing this tournament. Tianqi Wang's playing this tournament. I know those guys. They're college players. Let's see. Okay. Emily's game. Yeah, Emily. Deep think here. Scratching her head, leaning forward. What to do. She's got about an hour on her clock. Opponent has about an hour and 15. Yeah, they were college players. Whoa, it's Dr. J-Law in the chat. Oh my goodness. Whoa, knight to g3 played. Emily saying to heck with my bishop. Zach in shambles. What do you think she's considering? Well, she must have been considering that. So knight takes, pawn takes is what she's calculated, it seems. And maybe she's going for f5, but that doesn't seem right. Maybe she wants the e-file. Who knows? Usually when you take back, you're controlling the e square. The e5 square. But there's a pawn on f6, which prevents us from hopping in. Yeah, she's transforming the position, right? You say it's a damaged pawn structure. I say she's transforming the pawn structure. She wants the rook on the e-file. However, let us not put it past our opponent to trade knights. No, okay, never mind. She takes the bishop on f4, as we could have expected. Emily will certainly take back here. All part of the plan. Honestly, should have pre-moved it. There she goes. She takes. And now Emily has exactly what she wants. The open e-file. Also, hello to Dan Craig. Good to see you. Take care, Justin. Thanks for being here. Always appreciate seeing you. You would have tucked the bishop away. It seems so too would have Zach. All right, f5 played. A crazy weakening move. As we had mentioned, e5 not in our grasp, but now certainly is, thanks to this f-pawn push. So Emily perhaps confusing the opponent. And now let's see if she goes for knight e5 with the tempo against the queen. The mighty knight attacking the royal queen. From I mean, what an outpost. Look at that. You've got two knights versus two bishops. People say bishop pair this, bishop pair that. Yeah, well, how about a knight on an outpost? There are no pawns that could flush the knight away. Permanently cemented in the center. I mean, what a beautiful pony. Bishop pair overrated. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of the bishop pair. But you have to know the differences between knights and bishops. Knights, they operate in close encounters. Bishops, they love long diagonals. Knights can hop over pawns. Bishops, they get stuck behind pawns. These pawns, light squares, this bishop, light square, doesn't quite work well together. The knight hops right on through. Doesn't care. No pawns can get in the knight's way. So this is a pretty close position thanks to this f5 pawn push from black, creating weaknesses for the knights to hop into. So we'll see. Emily, she took her time with knight g3. We'll see if she goes into e5 now, attacking black's queen. One thing you should anticipate with knight e5 is that black will move the queen. Usually when you attack the queen will then react. Because if they don't, then that would be pretty good for you to win the queen. So when we anticipate our opponent to move their queen, we should look at their options. So the knight also covers c6. The queen covers b5. So if the queen wishes to go forward, the queen can go to a4. Otherwise, the queen can only go backwards, which would be pretty passive. So after we move knight e5, we can't just, say, hey, it's a great outpost, I'm going to just put the knight there. You should calculate what happens next. So after queen to a4, we have to notice that our pawn is hanging on a2. And perhaps we should address that. So, interestingly, let's say knight to e5, queen to a4. Maybe we ignore the a-pawn and we just push b3 and invite the queen to take. And then we play rook a1. And now the queen is actually very short on squares. Queen to b2, and now the second rook comes to b1, and I think the queen's trapped there actually. So this could be a very interesting idea. Knight to e5 has just been played by Emily. She has taken the outpost. She's assumed the position. And now the queen must move. So let's see if our opponent goes for queen to a4. Very interesting idea here. Ooh, Emily makes her move and she gets up, walks away. And the opponent looks like they were just about to make their move, hovering the hand over the queen. A strong indicator that they see that their queen is hanging right now by the knight. Not great for us, but, power move to make your move and then leave. Okay, so the queen does not bold the dangers of white's half of the board, not electing for queen to a4. Instead, going back to more comfortable territory, queen to e8 once more. Usually e8 is where the king is, and the queen is on d8. So it's kind of like, the queen and the king were sharing the same bed, and then the king went off to work, and then the queen's like, all right, I'm gonna lay on your side of the bed now. Has anyone else ever done that, or am I just being weird? All right. I should leave my thoughts to myself. I'm just kidding. All right, Zach also saw the b3 line. Can she play b3 first? Well, yeah, if you play b3 first and then go knight e5, then the queen definitely would go back. But I think we're trying to lure the queen to a4. But black didn't fall for it. And honestly, I think it'd be fine. Like b3, then the queen could go back. But all right, we see Tony and Emily both having left are returning now. Our opponent highlighting where she made her move. Emily writing it down. No comments from the knight on g3 is a bad knight. Well, luckily Emily can move it again. Let's see. The computer likes queen to e3. It likes b3. Rook f to e1. But yeah, I think piling up on the e file makes a lot of sense, because this knight we can then move and maybe put pressure on the e pawn. Hi Joshua, good to see you. Chess Dojo likes rook fe1. Yeah, we've already developed our knights. We've developed our queen. We put the rook on the c file, and the last piece is the rook on f1. Now that we have two f pawns, the rook prefers the e file that is semi-opened. Part of the process of allowing the capture on f4. Yeah, Kostia pointing out the knight on g3 has a purpose, preventing the queen from entering h5. So if you look at the queen's moves, actually, there's only two safe squares. So queens usually take pride in their mobility. Our queen, nicely placed, I'd say, on d3. But their queen maybe not as well placed on e8. But yeah, we'll see if Emily plays rook f to e1. You know, it's not like there's a tactic here, right? This is just a seemingly calm position. There's no real urgency here. But if you want to make solid moves, you try to improve your pieces. The rook on f1 is the only piece that she hasn't really moved. You like queen to b3. Yeah. Putting pressure on the b pawn. Queen b3 maybe walks into a4. They would hit our queen again. It's a little annoying. If you step up trying to stay on the b file, then you put yourself into a pen. Maybe then b6. Maybe is a little annoying. When did I start playing chess? I made my chess.com account 2012. Okay, Emily's gone for c6. This was a move that I was looking at a couple moves ago. I think is very interesting. Supported by the knight as well as the rook. And yeah, if we open the c file, the c pawn becomes weak for black. We'll see whether or not black takes or ignores it. Okay, yeah, black just passes it. Now this is a very clamping pawn. However, we must be very cautious of our opponent's light squared bishop now, with a clear threat of developing to a6 with not only a tempo against the queen, but also a skewer against the rook on f1. So a sneaky attacking move here from black. Hopefully Emily sees it. Zach saying she might miss that. Well, I have the utmost faith and confidence in Emily. I think rook fe1 is a very solid move here. Hello. Obsessed with chess. Welcome. Nice to have you. We're watching Emily Plays Chess playing at the Carolinas Classic in Charlotte. She's playing back-to-back tournaments. She just played last weekend in Las Vegas in the under 1250 section. Emily's about 950 rated. Paul thinks Emily will see the threat. I think so too. I think that, you have to see that when the pawn pushes, the bishop has a couple options, right? And when you have the black pieces, you obviously want to develop your minor pieces and try to connect your rooks. This is the last minor piece that black has yet to develop. So bishop a6 is definitely a very logical find. Emily just has to figure out where she wants her rook. Or maybe she moves her queen first, and then she moves the rook. How many rounds is this? She will play 5 rounds this weekend. This is round number 1. Bishop a6 looks scary. There's Josiah on the right in the gray hoodie. Josiah from Berkeley, I think, was doing grad school at Mizzou. Very strong chess player, international master, probably chasing GM title. Young guy still. But I have a fun fact about Josiah. I had met him at one of these Vegas tournaments a few years ago. And I was telling him, Megan asked me when I started playing chess. My first USCF tournament was in 2013 at the Berkeley School of Chess. I was taking a summer class at UC Berkeley as a high school student. And one of these days, there was a chess tent set up on the street. They have a farmer's market every week. And I noticed they had a little chess table. So I went up to them and I said, "Is there a chess club near here?" And they said, "Yeah, go check out the Berkeley School of Chess. They're doing a tournament. They play once a week." So I went, I checked it out, I registered. I had never signed up for a tournament, never had USCF before. And I told Josiah, yeah, my first ever USCF tournament, I played at Berkeley School of Chess. And I told him because he went to Berkeley. And, okay, Emily has just played knight to e2. Another move that disconnects the skewer. So Emily played a good move here, defending her rook against the bishop a6 skewer. So we'll see if black still plays it. It's a very logical move for sure. And yeah, when the bishop moves, actually, it weakens the e-pawn. So bishop a6 and queen e3, I think all is well for Emily. Still very good position. Bishop a6 has been played. So Emily should move her queen fairly quickly. But yeah, my Josiah story, it's just getting good. I was just laying the premise for you guys. I told Josiah, and he said, "Oh, let me look up your tournament, actually, because maybe I was playing in it too." He looks it up because he's like, "I used to play at the Berkeley School of Chess." And turns out he didn't play in it, but someone that you all probably have heard of played in it. Young kid at the time. Ended up becoming a grandmaster. If anyone wants to guess. Not Magnus, no. Yeah, Chess Arbitress knows Josiah, of course. Not Shanklin, no. Not Fisher, of course. Not Danya. Not Hikaru. What year was it? 2013. Young kid. Must have been less than 10 years old or something. Alareza? No. Think American. Still very young. He must have been like 1600 at the time. He's a grandmaster now. Not Ray Robson, no. Hans, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, big Han. Yeah, it was Hans Niemann. So you can look up my first ever USCF tournament. Hans Niemann played in it as well. So that's my fun fact. My rating now is about 1900 USCF. Why didn't I? Yeah, Hans. Hans, I think, was less rated than I at the time, and yet he somehow passed me. I don't know what happened. I beat Hans. No, I didn't play against him. Okay, so Emily doesn't go queen to e3, but instead goes to f3. Still keeping an eye on this knight. Probably we would have preferred e3, applying pressure along the e file. Hi Ryan, good to see you. You must be very good. Thank you. Queen f3 is fine. I agree with that. It serves the purpose. We not only evaded the nasty attack from the bishop, but we're also defending our knight on e2. What more could you ask for from a move? I mean, really. Okay, maybe putting some pressure on the e-pawn. But, you know, crisis averted still. But yeah, I'm also a fan of Ray Robson. I've stayed with Ray before. I've streamed with Ray before. I have a sad story about Ray. This is devastating. You guys might want to have to take a seat for this. But Ray Robson, obviously very, very talented grandmaster. And we were trying to test his chess skills, right? See really just how far we could push his ability as a chess player. We had him playing blindfolded. We were doing blindfolded puzzles. I was describing the position to him and he would solve it. And Eric Rosen stopped by the chat, and so we decided, you know, let's put Ray Robson's blindfold ability to the test against none other than famous chess streamer Eric Rosen. And so Ray was blindfolded and he was relying on me to relay the moves. I was telling him the moves, and then he would speak to me what moves to make in response. And maybe some of you see where this is going. Eric played a tactic. I told Ray, like, yeah, he played this. And Ray was like, what? Like, take back or something. And I was like, it's not legal. I can't do that. That's not possible. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, I played this. And I was like, oh, shoot. Ray, I'm so sorry. I had, like, misplayed the move that he wanted. So, like, Ray is so good at chess. He's better than me with my eyes. I couldn't even keep up with the notation right. It was so embarrassing. So, yeah, that was my sad story. I messed up his it wasn't hand and brain. It was a blindfold game against Eric Rosen. Ray was like, oh, then just resign. And I was like, no. I was so sad. Anyways. All right, take care. Chess arbitress. That's Judith, by the way, for anyone that wants to know. Not Pogar. But Stare, another famous chess legend. Judith has been an arbiter for one of my tournaments. I believe, I want to say like 20, was it 20, maybe like 2016 U.S. Amateur Team West, maybe 2015. I don't know. I could look it up, but I think it was like, is it Santa Clara? Bay Area, for sure. But yeah, chess arbitress, she knows her chess. She was the chess arbiter for chess boxing, which I also went to. That was that like December? Was that 20? 22, maybe. I don't know. You don't think Emily has any idea who you are? She said she knew you yesterday, right? Are you updating the board? Yeah, so Black had just played b5, I believe, and Zach was not a fan of this move, I don't think. Um, but okay, what can we do? Let's see. We do have d7 now available to us. What is Emily? Emily has just moved her rook to e1. A beautiful move, by the way. You think she was fibbing? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't know why Emily would know you either. But I think we said everyone knows Ryan, which like um then rook d1 after bishop to b4. Bishop b. I figured bishop to b4, or we could just like move our knight there maybe. But you want the bishop to move and then play rook d1? It's kind of interesting. She pushed the pawn. Yeah, black has pushed the pawn twice now. Twice in a row. Okay, so there's no bishop b4 now. Black is playing fast, still over an hour. Emily has about 42 minutes. So now perhaps a knight move. Computer likes moving this king. I don't know why. I don't know what that's all about. What is Emily's rating? She's about 950 USCF. You like the pawn on c6 and the knight on e5. Yeah, definitely a good combo. Her knight is very strongly placed in the center. An outpost square. Knight d7, exclam, and queen h5 stuff. Yeah, knight d7, attacking the rook, but also controlling f6. And rook would have to go to f7. And then, yeah, I feel like moving this knight, trying to open up the rook, I feel like is a very strong idea. Yeah, the engine always knows what's best, it seems. Okay, Emily has played a3. That is a peculiar move. Looking for some trades. Some pawn trades, perhaps. The bishop does support this diagonal, but the queen is also here as well. It's past 1 a.m. in the UK. You need your beauty sleep, Mr. Knight. Well, if you must be going, have a good night. Thanks for being here. Sleep tight. And yeah, we'll let you know how she does tomorrow. She will be streaming again. She's got 4 more rounds after this. 5 total games this tournament. 1 game today, 2 games on Saturday, and 2 games on Sunday. You're not bad at chess, Ryan. You're just inexperienced. Let me try and find the round times for you all so that you guys can mark it in your calendar. So tomorrow, her round 2 game will start at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And it is currently about 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then her round 3 game will be 4 p.m. Eastern. And Sunday, it starts at 10 a.m. Eastern and then 3 p.m. Eastern. So we'll have Zach covering some rounds as well. Okay. Looks like we've got some action. King to h8 played. And yeah, this is now within checking distance of the knight, which is very interesting. It could lead to some very exciting tactics. 10K puzzles, disagree. That's really good. Emily now below 40 minutes. Opponent still over an hour on their clock. So, yeah, opponent doesn't seem to be pressing very, very hard. Just playing fast. Not quite blundering anything directly. The computer does favor white, but what will Emily do about it is the question. A3 wasn't the most inspiring move. Black perhaps should have taken, but now has elected to put the king in the corner. Emily can now decline the trade and press along with A4. She could also trade. Probably trading's not best. Inviting perhaps the bishop, or maybe even opening up the A-file for Black's rook. What's the format? The time control is 100 plus 10. So 100 minutes with 10-second increment. Or so I've been told. And it's a Swiss tournament. So it's 5 rounds of Swiss. You've been really bad all your life. No, Ryan. It's not like that. I mean, good and bad is very subjective, right? You're definitely better than a lot of people. In fact, the median rating of chess.com users is actually 500. So half of the user base, which is like hundreds of millions of people, is less than 500. And that's just people on chess.com. There's way more people that aren't on chess.com that, know how to play chess, but it's just a game, right? People don't take it so seriously. Obviously, there are people that take it very seriously. And those people, they dedicate a lot of time and energy to improve. And everyone goes at a different pace, right? You shouldn't really compare yourself to others. So what's good for you could be great for someone else, or it could be bad for someone else. But at the end of the day, it's whatever you're happy with. All right, and now knight to g3. I like this move, putting the knight back, but really opening up the rook. And next, you can expect the knight to land on d7 with an attack against the rook and a discovery against the e-pawn. Emily is cooking up some tactics here. Very exciting. A4 would have been better. According to the engine, yes. But it always depends on how Black reacts and makes their move. So, exciting. And yeah, maybe like we could see a blunder from Black. Bishop to f6 is very interesting because knight d7 will still hit. We might still expect rook to f7, but now the queen is defending the e-pawn because the bishop is moved. However, with the bishop here, it's blocking the rook. And with the rook opened up at opposite the queen, we would have perhaps knight takes f5 as a tactic. That'd be very interesting. And that would be made possible because we didn't play a4. We moved the knight out of the way of the rook. So Emily's cooking up some tactics here Wow, and the opponent lashes out with g5. Super aggressive, ignoring the a pawns entirely, and posing a big question here. What does the computer like? Well, we could still go for knight d7. Hit the rook. The rook could go to the g file then. But yeah, I still feel like this is fairly strong. Jim Bob saying it's a bad move. It's definitely a committal move. It's creating weaknesses in front of the king. But we'll see what Emily does. She has to take advantage of it somehow. Because otherwise, it could be a justified move. It's an aggressive move for sure. Black is throwing pawns at Emily's king side, trying to open up lines for their pieces. What time frame do you play? Because you play like 30 or 15, you can really improve your skills. So I like to play Blitz online. I mostly play online, specifically 5-minute with no increment. But I just played in a classical tournament. I played the first 2 games were shorter at 60 minutes with 10-second increment. And then I played 5 games at 90 plus 30. So that was pretty fun. I think it's a solid time control. So yeah, playing longer time control I think helps your skill. Really gives you time to think about what you want to do. And the extreme to that is Hyperbullet, which we just watched on chess.com earlier today. The finals. I think Andy Woodward lost to Andrew Tang. Was it? Or no. Andy Woodward lost to Danya, and then I think Danya lost to Andrew Tang. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. All right, Emily has dove in with a knight. Knight to d7. And this is the move that I was hoping for. This, by the way, was not a top 3 move from the computer. In fact, the computer doesn't even want to move the rook, if you can believe it. It wants to take on a3. It wants to play queen to g6. It wants to play queen to f7, all hanging the rook. But I'm going to take a big guess and say that the opponent will move the rook to g8. That would be my guess. Butta versus Julian. Yeah. My heroes. I saw Julian watching Dina yesterday, and he stopped by today, perhaps lurking in the shadows of Twitch chat. Or maybe he's left by now. All right, rook to g8 has been played. And now Emily can feast her rook upon the open e-file. The first casualty of the chessboard. The backwards e-pawn. Imagine, Sack. Couldn't be you. As you are a chatter. As you chat too much. You miss both. Well, Butta is lurking not in Twitch chat, but in Discord servers. But yeah, I was glad to see Ryan in Twitch chat the other day in Jesse's channel. And then Ryan emerged on Discord as well. I thought he deleted his Discord. I knew he deleted his Instagram because he said so. There Emily goes. Look at her go. You know? It's just like that Pink Floyd song. We're seeing Emily play. and she's cooking. She just took a pawn for free. I mean, holy smokes. Guess what? There's a second pawn. Emily's not done. Her conquest has just begun. Pawn to g4, attacking the queen. Now, Emily can take, or she can move the queen immediately. These are like the two main moves. But guess what? This pawn is also hanging. So, one pawn falls, and they all crumble. The e pawn was holding together black's center. Now that that pawn has fallen, they will all come crumbling down. So, Emily cannot be distracted by such simple pawns. Instead, she's going for the whole enchilada, as they say. Why take a pawn when you could take a bishop? And to be fair, you could take the pawn and threaten the bishop, but she's going her own way. E3. No time to take the h-pawn or the a-pawn, as rook takes bishop will be a devastating loss of material for Emily's opponent here, who has not been using their time very wisely. They've been playing very quickly. Emily has about 33 minutes. Opponent still over an hour on their clock. So great time usage. Opponent has addressed the issue. But now the devastating knight takes f5, the second pawn with the tempo. Also, I just saw some lightning. It's raining here in St. Louis. Now I'm hearing the thunder. Rook e1. No. We want. I mean, listen. Rook e1, great move, right? I'm not going to knock you for it. But knight takes f5. I mean, come on. Chef's kiss. Grabbing a pawn, attacking the rook, attacking the bishop. What more could you ask for from a single move? Here's where there's so many ways to win. It all comes down to Emily's artistic decision here. This is where chess becomes an art. You know, the tactics can be very cut and dry, concrete, black and white, you know, scientific, mathematical. But here, there's a lot of ways Emily can go about it. So, and she's very attentive. She is leaning forward, just assessing, calculating. Opponent, very casual, we lean back, glasses off, glasses on. She doesn't even want to look at the board. She's already checked out. She's like, this is over. Emily, she's assuming an aggressive position, not only on the board, but in her own posture. She's assuming the attacking position. She's like an X-wing with the wings open. Okay, I need to stop with these references. Any Star Wars fans out there? Oh, man. But yeah, seriously, though, knight takes f5. Shots fired. And they say when you find a good move, look for a better one. So, you found rook e1. Very good move for sure. Knight takes f5. It's a little better. All right, and Emily has decided to play h4, which just completely shuts down any black counterplay, clearly. You know, why even allow h takes, right? Um you know, sometimes the position is just so good, you don't even have to do anything. You can just sit back and relax. Really just let your opponent self-destruct. Will Emily play the Atlantic Open in DC? I don't know. We can ask her during the interview afterwards. Respect. Yeah. Sometimes if you have like a crushing tactic and you don't play it, it's even more devastating to your opponent. Have you ever been losing so bad against someone that you see that they have like tactics and they have mate and they don't do it and you're like, gosh, this guy is so bad. He's like not even beating me that badly. Like he's not even beating me as badly as he could. That's how bad he is. And it's still crushing. Like you're still completely lost. It's like it makes it even more upsetting, right? Because you could lose to someone and they play like really well, and you're like, honestly, that was deserved. You know, they earned that. But then you could be losing to someone where you're like, oh my god, they missed this and that, and like, man, this guy's like not even that good. It makes me more upset. You call it Tuesday. Ah, just in time for Title Tuesday. All the time. Very true. So you guys know what I mean. That's what Emily's doing to her opponent right now. Okay, the opponent has moved the queen. The queen has been moved. And now it's time for... What do we want? We could play rook e1. The bishop has been unpinned now. I'm also considering something like queen e5. Just hitting the pawns. Bishop here might be annoying. So who knows? Who knows? I guess our h-pawn's hanging now, technically. So rook e1, there's bishop takes on h4, I guess. But honestly, the pawn is bait. I like putting the queen on e5, pinning the rook, and renewing the threat on f5. And if the bishop goes astray and takes on h4, then there's no coming back because our knight controls the square. Really, the bishop, I think, is better placed on this diagonal because it keeps the queen out of this very strong e5 square. So when your opponent pushes the f-pawn, right, not only is the e5 square weakened for your knight as an outpost, but it also becomes an avenue for your other pieces. The rook has passed through. The queen now has access. So weakening squares can be very devastating, not just because of, you know, giving up like a knight outpost, but it's really just all access to Emily's pieces, all of her pieces. And if the bishop takes, then you're even weakening e5 further as opposed to going to d6. So, okay, does Emily play the h-pawn? No, she dives deep into the center, queen to e5, renewing knight takes f5. And now the question is, will black be tempted by that h-pawn that Emily so wisely set up as bait? Or will black try to flush the queen out with bishop to d6? This is the best move for black. However, there is no defending the pawns as they are too weak. But the f-pawn is also weak for Emily, so that could be a concern. But yeah, it comes down to what black decides to do here. Emily's just under 30 minutes. And black still has over an hour on the clock, so we could be getting into some time pressure for Emily. But the position is so good. She could win this in her sleep, which is nice if you're behind on sleep. I definitely felt like I needed a nap during my games in Vegas. Sack, I know, also felt like he was sleeping at the board. So bishop to d6 has been played. The opponent was not fooled by any hanging h-pawns. However, Emily must decide how she wishes to capture. She's going to take one of these pawns. Actually, the computer likes rook takes d6. Absolutely ridiculous move that I myself would not even play. You're scared, Zach? Scared of what? Scared of Emily's success? Scared of just how badly she'll crush her opponent? Yeah, definitely black could have taken on c6, but didn't. You need a nap right now. It was way too fun. Yeah, you guys were about to witness the conclusion of Emily's first round, the start to the Carolinas Classic. She's going to start off strong here with the white pieces, really setting the tone for the rest of the tournament. Rook takes d6 looks good. Yeah, it just wants to get this pawn out of the way to get our pawn going. But yeah, queen takes on d5. I figured this was probably more likely. Now there's bishop takes f4, but then there's knight takes on f5. Oh, but then our rook is hanging. Whoops. Anyways, we could just double our rooks. Maybe they take here, but we just take back, and we're still doing just fine. So, yeah. She grabs on d5. Let's see what black does. Do they take on f4? Very logical continuation. I wonder how Tony's doing on his game. Tony just walking around. Tony's opponent in a deep thing. Looks like Kyle finished his game, setting up the pieces on his board. I wonder how he did. So something cool with the DGT boards that maybe not everyone knows is that when you finish your game, you can set up the kings in the center of the board to designate the result of the game. So, for example, if white won, you would put the kings on the center white squares. And if black won, you would put the kings on the center black squares. And if it was a draw, you would put them on both colors. I actually don't know if it matters which ones you choose, if like the E file or the D file, or even perhaps the unhinged 5th rank or 4th rank squares. Maybe Sack Checkmate can enlighten us with his superior knowledge and experience. But I saw Emily finished her game, and she knows, so she was putting the kings there. And as she was putting the kings in the center, her opponent saw that, the kings were missing from the starting squares, and so put the spare queen where the king goes. And I think got very confused. And I think that makes sense because most players in the under 1250 section probably aren't used to playing on the DGT boards or knowing how they operate. So I thought that was kind of cute. But yeah, Emily's a pro. She knows. And now all of you do too, as well. So if you're ever finding yourself playing on a DGT board, just know that if your opponent is putting the kings in the center, it's because they're signaling the results of the game to the internet. So, yeah. Everyone uses e4, e5. Ah, okay. So that's where the kings go. The kings like the e file. That's where they belong. That's where they're comfortable. It's what they're used to. So that makes sense. Yeah, this is like the longest think our opponent has had all day. She's perhaps been given new hope now that Emily hasn't taken on f5 with the knight or played rook e1. And when I say a new hope, I'm not trying to reference Star Wars again. That was purely coincidental. Is that allowed? I mean, I don't see why not. Ah. What if all of those moves are legal? Emily is a Jedi in training. So a Padawan, technically. Can you wear that? Yeah, I don't see why not. I'm not an arbiter though, so don't take my word for it. Whoa, that's a big cup. Would you call that a? Yeah, she had like the coffee cup there, but it was actually a decoy. She's got another larger cup that she has on the floor. It's too big to even fit on the table. She's got secret hydration. How could you compete? She's got 2 cups. Opponent has presumably 0 cups. Unless she's too also hiding cups beneath the table. They got a whole arsenal of things. Like what more are we not seeing? The Twitch broadcast is only just so much. It's such a limited view. There could be hundreds of thousands of fans just behind the camera, all just staring at the chessboard, maybe with binoculars. Who knows? I've never been to Charlotte, so, but I heard they're pretty popular with chess. Imagine it's like a horse racing venue. They should have the next world championship be like the Kentucky Derby or something. What's up, Speed Chess? Charlotte, yeah. They probably do have good barbecue. Man, what a long thing from Black. I mean, compared to what we're used to. Emily's been thinking a lot on her moves. And she's down to like 26 minutes. Opponent looks to have like 55 or so. So about twice as much as Emily. All right, Emily can't stand the thinking any longer. She gets up. She's on the move. She's going behind the opponent. Oh, looks like she's putting on a sweater. Perhaps it's cold in the playing hall. It was very cold in Vegas. People were wearing winter jackets in Vegas because it was so cold in the playing hall. And it's so hot outside. Anyways, Emily has returned now with a sweater. If Emily was playing well before, imagine how difficult it would be to take her down with an extra layer of protection. Okay, she picked up her cup. I don't think she took anything. All right, bishop takes f4 played. The best move. And now Emily must react to black's threat. The rook is hanging on c1. So therefore... Oh, they're comparing moves. What is this? Okay, there's the big cup again. A big drink from Emily. She needs as much hydration to make this next move. Also, I like the knights that she has captured, the two black knights. You can see they're like facing each other, you know. They're almost kissing, even. You guys, I swear, I'm not usually this crazy. You guys are like, okay, this guy needs to go. I did not need to know that. No. I don't know. Maybe Emily did it on purpose. I'm just saying. Yeah, if you guys just have Zach for the rest of the weekend, then you know what happened to me. I lost my commentating license. All right, rook c to e1 played. A fantastic move. Emily reaching back for her massive drink. Almost like a reward. She knows she played a good move. And now she gets hydrated. Opponent now. Both hands on their head. Deep think. What to do now? Do I take the knight? Do I double my rooks, perhaps? Who knows? By the way, f-pawn is hanging. Listen, you got to be aware of the pieces both on and off the board. You never know when Emily could play Pot of Greed, summoning 3 pieces from her deck. Or Grave Robber. You know, those pieces could come back. Typically, you play that when you promote your pawn. That's what people don't realize. Typically, I think in FIDE regulation, you're supposed to also play Pot of Greed when you want to underpromote to a piece from the graveyard. But most arbiters will let you get by without playing it. All right, now I'm adding in the Yu-Gi-Oh references. Couldn't have multiple queens? So you're telling me if queens were not captured, you couldn't promote to a queen unless you traded a queen? My favorite Pokemon? So I'll admit that I'm not the biggest Pokemon guy, but whenever I'm asked Pokemon related questions, I always default to Squirtle. Squirtle's my guy, my go-to. Queen G8, yeah. Queen G8 was played. All right. Therefore, we take. I like queen takes now, pressuring the bishop. But knight takes pressures the rook. There's a world where I don't know. I just want to take something, dude. I want to play f5. Take f5, Emily. Oh, uh-oh. Oh no. Holy smokes, folks. That was scary. We had the buffering circle. There's a lot hanging on this YouTube video right now. If we lose the video, I don't know what I would do. Yeah, Tony's opponent now staring at Emily's board. As soon as I say that, they look away. And here we go. Emily takes on f5 with the knight, with the tempo on the rook. And what's next? If the rook moves, I would love to get this check in. But there's a bishop here. So maybe we go here. I don't know. I want to attack that bishop, you know? Yeah, that's a good point. Knight h5 was a strong idea too. But you know, a pawn is a pawn. And without this pawn, we've opened up some ideas for our other pieces to have some fun. Queen takes f5. Knight to f6. Queen takes h7. Well, knight to f6 does attack the queen. Presumably the queen would leave. And it does also attack h7. However, the rook is defending h7. So queen takes h7 would not be checkmate just yet. You have mates, Zach says. If the queen moves, Joe. If knight f6, if the queen moves, we have mate. You want back rank mate? I don't know. Knight f6, rook e8. Well, I guess, I mean, the queen could still go to f7. So, queen, or, you know, even f8, technically. Either mate or the queen is lost. I don't know. Perhaps. But yeah, knight f6 is a strong move for sure. I'm getting excited. We're getting nearer to the end. We shall see. A lot of games still going on, but you could see a lot of games are starting to clear out as well. Some of the other games are finishing up. Three in the morning. Are you in Europe? Have a good night, though. Nice to meet you. Hope to see you back again tomorrow. So, a reminder, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Right now it's about 8:50 Eastern. So, I guess if it's like 9, then 10:30 will be about 13 and a half hours from now. So get your rest. Come back. Find out what happened. We'll update you on the score. Or you could watch the VOD. Knight h6 now. Okay, so what has the opponent played? The opponent has played rook to f7 and knight h6. Bishop covers that, so it's not quite the fork we want it to be. But I do like the move queen to e4. Take care. Hello, big. The rook protects too. It's true. We would be trading the knight for the bishop if we went here. And they take and we take. And this is a very annoying bishop, right? But we can also attack the bishop outright with queen to e4. And depending where the bishop goes, we could just get the fork without having to trade. Or maybe even this devastating check as well. So, okay. Looks like Emily has made her move. She just played g3. So she's attacking the bishop through another means. So big question to the bishop. Where to go? You could attack the rook, but then you give up the check. You can go back to d6, but then you give up the fork. So big question here from Emily with the subtle, or perhaps not so subtle, the simple g3. Pawn attacking a piece. A tale as old as time. Yeah, Emily's got a great position for sure. She's really dialed in here. Leaning forward. She's low on time, but it was a good time investment. Opponent way up on the clock, but way down on the position. So, yeah, I like that the A and B pawns have just been staring at each other the whole game, and now are just being left on the side. Oh, more lag. Come on, YouTube. Hello, Megan. Welcome back. Have you been paying close attention this whole time? Or are you in and out? Oh, God. This is the second time it happened. It worked out the first time. And they say the third time's a charm. But this is the second time. And it's not working yet. So what does that mean for us, you guys? What do we do? You have to clean. Where's Mad Latin? Oh my goodness, folks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to resort to stalling for time, I guess. Wait, is it no. So the good news is though I do have a live position that I could try pulling up. So we still have the game, we just don't have the video. And you know, there could be worse things in life. So we'll make do. We still have the game. What does that mean for me though? Did the battery die? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Is the video live or with a delay? It's live. Joe's too innocent. I don't know. This could be my fault. Hi, Sherlock. Oh. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I misread it. I mean, I just read it as she was doing something else besides watching the stream, which is fine, I guess. Okay, so please bear with me. I'm about to ruin the scene. I'm swapping out the board for the live board, the DGT board. Which is honestly better. And the good news about this board is actually we get the clocks as well. So, yeah, we can see opponent has 43 minutes. Emily has 21 minutes. No analysis, Jim. Imminent ruinage. Your immersion is broken. Can I pretend to be Emily? No, I don't want to insult her. Oh my god, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, bishop takes g3 on the board. A piece sacrifice from black. Honestly, without the video feed, I might not just believe it. That is ridiculous. Emily takes back with the pawn. Triple X clan. The sack don't work. I mean, hey, we haven't seen it played out just yet, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it some time, shall we? Game is not over yet. But where am I getting this feed? Chess.com does not show that move. I have my sources. This is from chess.com. But yeah. Maybe this is just me pulling a quick one on you. Maybe I'm faking it. I myself canceled the video feed and then started making ridiculous moves on the board. Who would really even know? You would all be none the wiser. You're just in for the ride now. This is the Joe show. I could refresh this stream and see if it works, but then I'm worried I would lose it. Yeah, it's just not. It's not it. We're just gonna have to trust the source that I have. It's okay feeling cheesy or chessy, I guess. You can see some of our board on the Chess Shark stream. Should I pull up the Chess Shark stream? Shout out to the Chess Sharks. Let's see what they're going on. Oh yeah, that's a cool angle. That's interesting.